Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. This time, we get to team up with Chloe Fraser, a fan-favorite treasure hunter, as she's joined by Nadine Ross, a mercenary from Uncharted 4. What's cool about this duo is how their dynamic grows throughout the game, making every moment feel personal and compelling. Right from the start, the game does an excellent job of blending action and exploration. You'll be jumping, climbing, and swinging through environments that are both breathtaking and filled with surprises. Whether you're sneaking past enemies, solving puzzles, or just soaking in the scenery, there's always something happening. And let's be honest, finding those hidden gems and taking on the challenges feels incredibly rewarding. Combat in this game is tight, smooth, and offers a lot of ways to approach situations. You can go in guns blazing, but it's also super satisfying to sneak around, avoiding detection and using stealth. The addition of silenced weapons adds a cool strategic layer, especially when you're trying to outsmart the enemy rather than outgun them. It really lets you choose your playstyle, whether you're all about action or more about being the sneaky hero. Now, the environments themselves are like playgrounds for these two characters. There's this great balance of open spaces where you can really explore and take your time, and then there are these narrow, tense spots that make your heart race. It's a mix that keeps things fresh, so you're never stuck in one mode for too long. Outlast 2. From the very beginning, the tension is cranked all the way up and it just never drops. Outlast 2 is one of those games that doesn't give you room to breathe, and somehow that's exactly what makes it so addicting. You're always on edge, always running, hiding, peeking through the dark, wondering what's around the next corner. And the game absolutely thrives on that feeling. What's wild is how it constantly shifts the ground under your feet. Just when you think you've figured out how things work, it throws you somewhere new with a totally different threat, and you have to scramble to get your bearings all over again. It keeps you in this state of constant unease that somehow becomes the new normal. And weirdly enough, it kind of works. You start getting good at surviving the chaos. The camera is still your lifeline, and using night vision feels like both a blessing and a curse. You need it to see, but it also makes everything more intense. Those narrow beams of light cutting through pitch black spaces never feel safe. And the battery management, that stuff makes every little decision count. Do you risk exploring a side path for supplies or play it safe and move on? It's a small mechanic, but it adds so much pressure in the best way. And then there's the pacing. It's constantly shifting between full-blown panic and slow, creeping dread. 1 minute you're sprinting for your life, and the next you're sneaking through a cornfield praying you don't get spotted. Forza Horizon 5 is all about speed, freedom, and pure fun. Set in a vibrant, sprawling open world that's a massive playground for any car enthusiast, it's a game that lets you lose yourself in high-octane adventures. Forget about just racing. This is about exploring, taking on challenges, and just having a blast behind the wheel. The whole experience feels like an endless summer road trip through diverse landscapes, from beaches to deserts and even towering mountains. You can hop into over 850 different cars, each customizable to your heart's content. Whether you're upgrading your ride for speed or giving it a unique look, there's a ton of freedom to make your car truly yours. The best part is the game constantly throws new things your way. From races to mini-games and creative custom events made by players, there's always something new around the corner to keep you hooked. The dynamic weather system is something that really sets the game apart. You can race through intense rain in one area, and a few miles down the road, you're driving under the scorching sun. That's not even to mention the seasonal changes that keep the world feeling alive and constantly changing. It's the kind of detail that keeps things fresh, no matter how many hours you've already put in. But it's not all about racing. There's Horizon Arcade and Event Lab to spice things up. Yakuza 0 is an absolute blast, mixing the best of open-world action with a ton of cool side activities, all while delivering a seriously compelling experience. Set in the late 80s, you get to dive into the lives of two pretty iconic characters, Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima, as they rise through the ranks of the Japanese underworld. But what's really fun about this game is that it doesn't just make you fight your way through gritty streets, it gives you so much more to do along the ways. Let's start with the combat, which is easily one of the standout features. There's a whole bunch of different fighting styles, so you can switch things up mid-battle to suit the situation. Kiryu has his brawler, beast, and rush styles, letting you either go for a straightforward heavy-hitting approach or something quicker and more agile. Majima's got his own set with Thug, Slugger, and Breaker, making every fight feel fresh. The best part is that you get to mix and match these styles depending on what's going down. It keeps combat feeling fluid and exciting. On top of that, there's a whole character progression system where you invest money into leveling up your abilities. And we're not talking about just the cash you earn from street fights, but money you make through all sorts of activities around the city. So if you're doing well at the businesses or even out on the streets helping people out, it all ties into your growth. It's a nice touch that makes the world feel connected in a way that keeps you engaged. Resident Evil Village picks up the action in a terrifying snow-covered village where danger lurks at every corner. Ethan Winters is back, and this time he's up against a whole new level of twisted creatures and monstrous foes. From towering, monstrous enemies to creepy, unsettling environments, there's no shortage of surprises, and it's easy to see why this entry stands out in the series. What really makes it shine is how it balances action with horror. You're constantly scavenging for resources, managing your inventory, and figuring out how to survive each encounter. It's not just about blasting through enemies, but about choosing when to fight and when to run. Each decision counts, especially when ammo and health are in limited supply, making every moment feel tense and meaningful. This dynamic keeps you on the edge of your seat, constantly evaluating whether to fight, flee, or conserve precious resources. One of the coolest additions is the Duke, a mysterious merchant who shows up throughout the game. He's not just there to sell you stuff. He's part of the world's strange charm. You'll find yourself stopping by to grab upgrades, weapons, and occasionally a meal. Yep, you can even cook in this game, and it's not just for fun. The buffs from meals can make a huge difference when facing tougher foes. The environments are also a big part of the fun. There's a variety of places to explore, from creepy castles to dense forests, and each location has its own vibe. Ghost of Tsushima is one of those games that completely pulls you into its world and makes you forget about everything else for a while. It's not just about the incredible combat or the beautiful environments, though both are standout features. It's about the overall experience of stepping into the boots of a samurai fighting to protect his home. Every corner of the world feels alive, and there's always something to discover, whether it's a hidden area or a small detail that adds to the immersion. The combat system is just a blast. If you love sword fighting, you're in for a treat. You can swing your katana like a true samurai or sneak around with stealth, making every encounter feel fresh and exciting. The game gives you different stances, which really adds to the variety. It's like you're learning new moves as you go, and you can adapt your strategy based on the situation. And the duels? Oh, they're a thing of beauty. Every swing and block feels meaningful, and when you pull off a perfect counter or land that final blow, it's incredibly satisfying. Exploration is another big win here. The open world is packed with so many things to do. You can spend hours just wandering through forests, up mountains, or along the shorelines, finding hidden shrines, hot springs, and little side quests that make the world feel alive and full of secrets. There's a nice balance between the main missions and these side activities, so you're always discovering something new without ever feeling overwhelmed. Sneaking through a rainy bamboo forest while your footprints slowly give you away is the kind of detail that makes everything click in the best way. That little touch is just one of the clever things packed into Assassin's Creed Shadows, and honestly, it keeps surprising at every turn. This one really goes all in on letting you approach situations however you want, especially thanks to the way Naoi and Yasuke play completely differently. Swapping between the two feels more like choosing between two games in one, with one offering clean, precise stealth, and the other throwing you headfirst into brutal, weighty combat. The way their styles complement each other creates these cool moments where you start planning around which character handles the job better, and it never gets old. Weapon variety here is just plain fun too. You've got all the classics you'd expect, but the game makes them feel alive. Switching from a katana to a kusarigama completely changes the rhythm of a fight. Throw in some shurikens, kunai, or even just smashing a lantern to mess with the light in a room, and suddenly every encounter turns into a little playground for strategy. The seasonal world adds more than just pretty scenery. It actually shifts how you play. Rain muffles footsteps and makes it easier to sneak. Snow leaves tracks that guards can follow, and heavy wind can throw off your aim. These little things force you to adapt on the fly, which makes every moment feel active rather than just running through the motions. Imagine a world where you get to control magical echoes that let you solve puzzles, create paths, and even fight enemies in cool ways. That's exactly what you get with this Zelda game, where Zelda herself steps up to the plate and takes the lead. You're not just exploring as a sidekick anymore. This time, she's the hero and the world's on her shoulders. Right from the get-go, you're handed a magical tool called the Tri-Rod. It's a staff with a big twist. It can summon echoes, copies of objects, and even enemies. These echoes are super handy for solving puzzles, getting through obstacles, and even using enemy powers to your advantage. It's the kind of mechanic that makes you think on your feet and experiment. There's no one right way to do things, which means the more creative you are, the better. Of course, it's not all about solving puzzles with your echoes. Zelda gets her own combat abilities, and one of the coolest parts is her sword fighter form. This transformation lets her use Link's sword and take on enemies in a more action-packed way. Managing your energy for these moments is key, so there's definitely a bit of strategy involved, making each fight feel fresh. As for the world you're exploring, it's filled with some really interesting areas like forests, deserts, and mountain ranges. And if that's not enough, there's also the still world. This mysterious dimension is frozen in time, with people trapped in stasis, and it's where most of your adventure goes down. Max Payne 3 is one of those games that really knows how to keep you on the edge of your seat. You're thrown into a world of intense action, where every bullet counts and every corner could be hiding something dangerous. The game's combat is smooth, satisfying, and just downright fun. You've got bullet time, that signature slow-motion mechanic that lets you dodge bullets like a total boss, all while taking out enemies with precision. It's the kind of gameplay that makes you feel like you're in a blockbuster action movie, minus the explosions. One of the coolest things about this game is how it mixes strategic cover with fast-paced combat. It's not just about running and gunning. You gotta plan your moves, find cover, and pick your shots carefully. But even when you're in cover, things never slow down. You're always thinking about your next move, and it keeps you constantly engaged in the action. The dual-wielding mechanic is another great touch. Being able to fire two guns at once makes combat feel even more dynamic, and it's just plain fun to watch the bullets fly. And let's not forget the variety of weapons at your disposal. Whether you're going for the classic handgun, packing some serious heat with a shotgun, or trying your luck with an assault rifle, there's a weapon for every playstyle. Each weapon feels unique, and you get the satisfaction of feeling like a one-person army as you switch between them mid-fight. The game isn't just about the firefights, though. The levels are well designed and push you to think about how to approach each situation. Batman Arkham Knight. Let me tell you, this one is a real treat for anyone who loves action-packed gameplay and the dark, brooding world of Gotham. Imagine diving into a massive open world where you can swoop down from rooftops, taking out enemies with style while feeling like the ultimate superhero. The combat system is super satisfying, letting you unleash a flurry of punches and gadgets that make every encounter feel like a choreographed dance of justice. One of the coolest features has to be the Batmobile. It's not just a car, it's a fully fledged gadget on wheels. Zooming around Gotham in this beauty is a blast, and it's not just for show. You can blast through enemy barricades, engage in vehicular combat, and even solve puzzles that require some slick driving skills. The feeling of being in control of this iconic vehicle adds a whole new layer of fun to the game. The gameplay also has this perfect mix of stealth and action. You can choose to sneak around like a shadow, taking out bad guys silently, or go in all guns blazing. Well, not guns, but you know what I mean. Using gadgets like the Bat Claw or explosive gel feels super satisfying as you strategize your way through enemy hideouts. It's all about being the ultimate detective and tactician, which is so much fun. Exploring Gotham City is like being in a playground filled with challenges and hidden treasures. There are side missions galore, and each one feels like a mini adventure that pulls you deeper into the Batman universe. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 drops players right into the action with its fast-paced, tactical gameplay that everyone loves. Whether you're a seasoned veteran of the series or someone jumping in for the first time, there's something here for everyone. The game mixes the familiar with new, adding some cool updates that make it stand out. The multiplayer mode is where a lot of the fun happens. It's got a ton of different modes, so you'll never feel like you're running out of things to do. Whether you're into team-based objectives, free-for-all chaos, or tactical rescue missions, there's always a fresh way to dive in. The maps are constantly updated, and the cross-platform play means you can squad up with friends no matter what system they're on. Oh, and let's not forget about the gunsmith system, which gives you so many ways to customize your weapons. You can really dial in the perfect loadout for your playstyle, whether you're all about precision or heavy firepower. One of the standout features this time around is the integration with Warzone 2.0. It's a free-to-play battle royale mode that adds an entirely new layer of gameplay. Think of it as a massive playground for chaotic action. And if you're more into co-op, the Special Ops mode is perfect for teamwork and strategy. It really focuses on making you work with your teammates to complete complex missions, which adds a whole new dynamic compared to the regular multiplayer modes. It's also not all about run-and-gun action. Amnesia the Bunker. Imagine waking up in an abandoned World War I-era bunker with no memory of how you got there, but you quickly realize that you're not alone. That's just the start of the journey, and things only get more intense from there. Right from the jump, the game throws you into a gritty, resource-scarce world where you're constantly on edge. You've got limited ammo, dwindling supplies, and a massive, terrifying creature hunting you down, all while you're trapped in the dark. It's a game of cat and mouse, where every corner you turn could be the one where the beast shows up to spoil your plans. One of the coolest things about the gameplay is the sense of freedom. Unlike the more linear routes of its predecessors, this one opens up the bunker in a semi-open world style, giving you the chance to explore at your own pace. The tension is ratcheted up by this freedom because you never know exactly when the beast will strike or what path you might take to get away. Whether you're trying to find more fuel for the generator or scrounging for weapons to defend yourself, every decision feels meaningful. The real magic happens when you start getting creative with the environment. Gasoline becomes your best friend. You can pour it around the bunker to light up dark spaces or even set traps to slow down the beast. This kind of environmental manipulation makes every encounter feel dynamic and keeps things fresh. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. This one throws you straight into a wild, unpredictable sandbox that feels like it never stops challenging you in clever ways. It's not just about shooting or sneaking. It's about survival, real, gritty, boots-on-the-ground stuff. You're dropped into this remote island loaded with secrets, dangers, and some seriously high-tech enemies, and it quickly becomes clear that staying alive means thinking smart and playing even smarter. The whole vibe is about adapting. There's this system where your character can actually get injured mid-fight, and those injuries matter. Limping away from a gunfight isn't just for show. It slows you down, messes with your aim, and keeps you on your toes. Healing up, crafting gear, and managing your resources suddenly become just as important as pulling off that perfect headshot. It keeps everything feeling grounded and intense without getting overwhelming. There's this awesome class system too. You're not locked into one role, which is great because the missions really reward switching things up. You could be running smoke bombs as a stealthy panther one moment and going full assault mode the next. It feels flexible and fresh, like the game is always encouraging experimentation. The island itself is full of different terrain, mountains, swamps, forests, that aren't just there to look nice. You can use the mud to hide, slide down a hillside in the rain, or get caught slipping if you're not paying attention. Fallout 4 is a game where you're just thrown into a world that's completely fallen apart, and it's up to you to make your own way through it. The game is like a giant playground filled with danger, mystery, and let's face it, a whole lot of junk to collect. You can spend hours just wandering around, exploring old buildings, picking up scrap to build something new, or finding new settlements to create a little piece of safety in the wasteland. And that's one of the coolest things about this game, how you can take a pile of junk and turn it into something useful, like crafting a powerful gun or even building your own house. It's all about getting creative with the resources around you. What makes the gameplay stand out is how much freedom it gives you. You're not just following a straight line from one mission to the next. You're in a world that's packed with side quests, hidden locations, and random encounters that you can stumble upon whenever. Want to help some settlers rebuild? You can do that. Feel like clearing out an old military base filled with raiders? Yep, that's totally your call. The best part? You don't need to do anything in a particular order. Just follow what catches your attention. Then there's the combat. It's a nice blend of real-time action and strategic thinking. You can just go in guns blazing or use the tactical Vault-Tec assisted targeting system, VATS, to slow down time and target weak spots on enemies. It makes the combat feel fresh, and it's fun to mix up how you approach different situations. Sleeping Dogs. Definitive Edition really nails that sweet spot between open-world exploration and action-packed gameplay. From the moment you dive into the streets of Hong Kong, it's clear this game is all about giving you a full-throttle, over-the-top experience. The city itself feels alive, buzzing with energy, and there's so much to do you'll find yourself just soaking it all in. The combat system? Oh, it's a blast. It's smooth, fluid, and super satisfying when you're pulling off those over-the-top takedowns. Every fight feels like you're a martial arts expert with tons of ways to make things look cinematic. Whether you're using the environment to your advantage or just stringing together crazy combos. You might even catch yourself doing that, "Oh yeah, that was cool" reaction every time you finish off a group of enemies in style. The driving's just as fun. Whether you're speeding through traffic in a sleek car or zipping around corners on a motorbike, there's this sense of freedom that makes you feel like you're in control of the streets. You can chase down bad guys, explore hidden corners of the city, or even engage in random street races if you're feeling a little competitive. There's always something to do that'll keep you hooked. On top of that, the side missions really help keep things fresh. They're not just filler content either. There's a variety of activities, from martial arts tournaments to helping the police clean up the streets. There's always something exciting going on, which makes the game feel even more alive. Dead Island 2 drops you straight into a chaotic, zombie-infested version of Los Angeles, and honestly, it's a wild ride. This game has all the ingredients you need for a fun, action-packed adventure. It's not just about taking down zombies, it's about doing it in style with an arsenal of weapons and a whole lot of creativity. The moment you start, you're thrown into the deep end with 6 unique characters, each bringing their own flavor to the table. Whether you like to rush in swinging a heavy hammer or take a more tactical approach with ranged weapons, there's a slayer for every type of player. The variety really helps keep things fresh and lets you experiment with different combat styles. Speaking of combat, it's all about the melee action. Forget the typical shoot and run tactics. In this game, you're up close and personal, smashing, hacking, and bashing your way through hordes of zombies. The coolest part? You can totally customize your weapons. Want to add fire to your machete? Go for it. Or how about electrifying your bat? Yes, please. It's those little details that make every encounter feel exciting and satisfying. Now, the open world, oh man, it's huge. You get to explore a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles that's been overrun by the undead. It's not just about running from point A to point B. You've got areas to scavenge, hidden secrets to uncover, and plenty of chaos to embrace. Death Stranding drops you into one of the most unique gaming experiences out there. It's not your typical action-packed thrill ride. It's slower, more deliberate, and all about making connections in the most unexpected ways. You're carrying packages, climbing mountains, building bridges, and doing your best not to fall on your face with a stack of boxes strapped to your back. And somehow, that ends up being way more compelling than it has any right to be. There's this oddly satisfying loop of planning your route, managing your cargo, and making it from point A to point B without everything going sideways. Every step feels earned, especially when you've trekked across rocky hills, rivers, and slippery slopes to get there. It turns simple movement into something meaningful. There's a real sense of effort and accomplishment in the most mundane tasks, and it somehow feels peaceful. But it's not just about walking. You've got all kinds of tools and gear to help you out: ladders, ropes, exoskeletons, even full-on vehicles once you get deeper in. It starts out pretty grounded, but it grows in complexity as you go. You start thinking like a logistics expert, solving terrain problems, and optimizing your deliveries like a pro. There's something addictive about mastering the system and getting into that delivery flow. And then there's the multiplayer element, which is genius in its own quiet way. You don't play directly with other people, but their presence is always felt. Rage 2. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, where you get to step into the boots of Walker, the last surviving ranger. What's awesome here is how the game gives you a ton of freedom. The open world is huge, and you can just dive right into exploring. Whether you're racing across deserts in a souped-up vehicle, hunting down bandits, or just taking a minute to blow stuff up for fun, there's always something going on. And let's talk about the guns for a second. They're ridiculously satisfying. You've got your classic shooters, assault rifles, shotguns, and pistols, but it's the crazier weapons that really steal the show. Grenade launchers that fire exploding projectiles, and shotguns that make you feel like a walking natural disaster. Then, you've got your nanotrite abilities, which just take things to another level. It's not just about shooting, it's about combining weapons and powers to create total chaos. Imagine launching enemies into the air with one ability, then mowing them down mid-flight. It's that kind of anything goes energy that makes every encounter feel like a thrill ride. The vehicle combat is another standout feature. If you thought the on-foot shooting was fun, wait until you get behind the wheel of a car with guns mounted on it. It's like Mad Max meets a first-person shooter. Whether you're tearing through enemy camps or engaging in car chases, the driving combat is just as engaging as the rest of the game. The Last of Us Part 2 is one of those games that really sticks with you. It doesn't just ask you to play, it asks you to think, to feel, and to reflect. If you're in the mood for something that doesn't just let you breeze through, but instead challenges you on every level, then this game hits the mark in a big way. The gameplay itself is a nice evolution from the first game, with all the gritty combat you loved, plus new tricks up its sleeve. It's a mix of stealth, strategy, and full-on action, with a real emphasis on survival. The world is still as dangerous as ever, and whether you're fighting humans or the infected, you need to be quick on your feet. The combat feels tighter, and the addition of new weapons and tools just adds more layers to how you approach each situation. Exploring the world feels different this time around. There's this beautiful balance of open areas and close quarters, and while you're always on the lookout for resources, you're also encouraged to take in your surroundings. It's one of those games where you don't mind taking your time to look around because you know there's always something hidden or some detail that just makes the world feel more alive. It's not just about getting to the next checkpoint, it's about the journey. And then there's the crafting system. If you liked how it worked in the first game, you'll appreciate the improvements. You can create everything from medkits to makeshift bombs, but it's always a game of balancing what you need versus what you have. Shadow of the Tomb Raider brings Lara Croft back for another action-packed adventure that's as fun as it is challenging. It's not just about swinging across ledges or taking down enemies, though there's plenty of that. It's also about exploration and getting into the groove of some seriously clever puzzle solving. Right from the start, the gameplay feels smooth, like it's designed to make you feel like an absolute pro. The climbing mechanics are tighter than ever, and the ability to stealthily sneak around enemies adds a fresh dynamic. Imagine crawling through the jungle, hiding in bushes, and using the environment to your advantage. If you love games that let you be sneaky or give you the option to go in guns blazing, this game has you covered. One of the coolest parts is the focus on stealth. There's something satisfying about taking down enemies without them even knowing you were there. Lara can hide in the shadows or blend into the environment. Whether it's using the environment to her advantage or silently taking out foes, the game really lets you feel like you're the ultimate adventurer in the most natural way possible. And then there are the tombs. The game is packed with them, and these aren't just little side activities either. Some of them will really make you think and challenge your puzzle-solving skills. You'll be twisting levers, finding secret paths, and discovering hidden areas that will make you feel like you're Indiana Jones. The tombs are designed to test your wit and reward your patience. They're a real highlight.